Okay, we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream. 7:40 p.m. It is. It is also Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken, the 14th of October. Looking at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press here today in Spain, and some comments that have been left on the channel by viewers in recent times. Second half of the live stream, we'll go into the chat section, see what's happening there, say hello to the viewers that are watching live. So if you are watching live out there, say hello in that chat section. Now we'll get straight into the news, and the storm known as Alice seems to be hanging around Spain, that Mediterranean area, and over the last 24 hours it has left a lot of destruction in its wake, especially as we can see here in Tarragona, Catalonia, and Valencia. 18 people were injured and flooding reported. Storm Alice has left a trail of damage across eastern Spain, causing severe flooding, transport disruptions, and injuries. Over the weekend, the storm hit the Valencian Community and Tarragona particularly hard, with the latter suffering the worst impact. In the Terres de l'Ebre region, firefighters carried out 31 rescues and 18 people were injured, one seriously, amid violent downpours and flash floods. Authorities in Catalonia have kept schools closed and some roads cut in the most affected areas. Spain's weather agency, AEMET, maintained weather alerts on Monday for heavy rain in Tarragona and Valencia, although conditions began to ease. Catalan President Salvador Illa has announced €10 million in emergency aid and €50 million in low-interest loans for recovery efforts. Weather forecasts suggest lingering showers over the Mediterranean and Balearic Islands before calmer conditions midweek, and a new Atlantic storm arriving at the weekend. So the persistent storm, as I said, known as Alice, wreaking havoc in some parts of the country. I reckon that some people here in Spain are getting sick of seeing the image of cars floating away down otherwise busy streets. When these rains hit, the flooding occurs, and of course nothing is safe. Cars, as I said, easily swept away by the currents, and some of the images that I saw on the television news the other day of basically, as I said, streets turning into rivers with the flash flooding, the downpours that are dropping a lot of water in a very short period of time, and no town's drainage system can handle these downpours, it seems. And also a lot of towns are too close to natural pathways, I imagine, for the water when it rains in this quantity. So yeah, more destruction, more damage, people injured. Fortunately, no lives lost. We've already seen this year various people losing their lives because of these flash floods. This time none, so that was lucky. But we're not out of the woods yet as far as these storms are concerned. If we remember back to last year's tragic Dana, it was on the 29th of October, so we've got a few more days, as I said, to have to put up with this type of storm. Another one coming, but from the Atlantic, so I don't think it will be as serious. But when these storms brew over the Mediterranean, those towns there, you got to watch out, right? Second piece of news here now, and Donald Trump presses Prime Minister Sanchez on defense spending during Gaza peace plan ceremony. US President Donald Trump publicly pressed Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez over Spain's low defense spending during the signing ceremony of the Gaza peace plan, though the exchange was marked by smiles and cordiality. Where is Spain? Are you trying to convince him about the GDP? We'll get there. You're doing a fantastic job, Trump said, addressing Sanchez with irony while referencing Spain's contribution to NATO's defense budget. The two leaders shook hands and shared a brief laugh, despite ongoing tensions over Madrid's refusal to raise military expenditure to 5% of GDP, as Washington has urged. Government sources downplayed the remark, highlighting the good tone and cordial atmosphere between Trump and Sanchez, insisting that the US president's comments were more complimentary than critical. Trump, who arrived 3 hours late, greeted world leaders one by one before his speech, using the moment to spotlight defense contributions. And I will say that Prime Minister Sanchez seemed to have a nervous smile on his face yesterday at that summit in Egypt. I think it was mentioned there when they were signing the peace treaty that Donald Trump and his crew have orchestrated. And Prime Minister Sanchez a little bit uneasy, I think, especially when those comments were made by Donald Trump. We know that around a week ago, Trump suggested that Spain should be kicked out of NATO, and yesterday on the world stage, highlighting the fact that Spain is coming up a bit short when it comes to defence contributions. 5% is the target, but Spain is holding on, doesn't want to spend any more than 2.1%, as we can see here. Prime Minister Sanchez defends 2.1% defence spending as sufficient for NATO and calls for justice in Gaza. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez has reiterated that allocating 2.1% of Spain's GDP to defence meets NATO's requirements and ensures the country's security priorities are met. In an interview with Cadena SER, a radio station, Sanchez described his meeting with Donald Trump in Egypt as cordial, noting that the US recognizes Spain's economic progress and NATO commitment. He added that Spain's current defense budget responds to common objectives agreed within the alliance. Sanchez also called for justice over the genocide committed in Gaza, saying peace cannot mean forgetting or impunity. He reaffirmed Spain's support for international criminal court proceedings and confirmed that his arms embargo on Israel, recently approved by Congress, will remain in place until the peace process advances. He did not rule out Spain's participation in a future UN peacekeeping mission in Gaza, stating the country wants to play an active role in reconstruction and lasting peace. So it's not going to happen. It appears that Spain will fork up the cash, the percentage of GDP wanted by the states, and 2.1 is the figure reiterated there by Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez. So we'll see if Trump can squeeze the extra percentage points out of Mr. Sanchez. I don't think it's going to be easy, or if the pressure from other European countries becomes too strong and Spain caves in. As we know, Spain reluctant to spend more money on defence. The left side of the government here, or the extreme left, I should say, part of the government is anti-war, anti-defence spending. They want money spent on things closer to home, like, for example, education and health and things along those lines, and not on the military. But as we saw there, Spain's economy is doing well, so maybe there is room to spend more. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And anyone planning on becoming a Spanish citizen anytime soon, better hurry up, because if the opposition party gets into power, it's going to become tougher. As we can see here, the opposition leader Feijóo proposes tougher language and cultural requirements for Spanish citizenship. The leader of Spain's Conservative Popular Party, otherwise known as the PP, Alberto Núñez Feijóo, has proposed raising the cultural and linguistic requirements to obtain Spanish nationality, arguing that citizenship is not given, it is earned. Presenting the PP's new immigration plan in Barcelona, Feijóo called for a firmer but balanced stance on migration, positioning his party between the left and the far right while adopting some of Vox's rhetoric. The proposal would tighten access to Spanish citizenship, public aid and regularization processes, linking them to employment and integration. Under current rules, applicants must have lived in Spain for 10 years and passed tests in Spanish language and culture. The PP's plan would raise the language level required to B2 level and introduce a more demanding exam on Spain's institutions, laws, culture and history to guarantee commitment to democracy and shared values. Feijóo insisted that being Spanish means sharing a history, values, and destiny. So Mr. Feijóo changing his stance on immigration. This has been a work in progress over the last couple of weeks, because as we know, the far-right political party Vox is taking a lot of PP voters because of their tougher stance on subjects like immigration. And of course, Mr. Feijóo needs to do something if he wants to retain those voters in the next general elections. And of course, immigration is where he is choosing to spend his resources. And it will become tougher. Currently, if you want to become a Spanish citizen, it said 10 years there. That is for people like myself that come from countries that have to go through a stricter process. But if you come from a South American country or a country that speaks Spanish in the Americas, you only have to be living here legally for 2 years, not 10 years as stipulated there, I think the rules are. And of course, you don't have to pass a language test because you speak Spanish fluently because it's your native language. You only have to pass the citizenship test, which is going to become more difficult as well. At the moment, it's one of the easiest things that I have seen, the Spanish citizenship test. Anyone who has lived in the country for a while will know most of the questions quite well, but the language could be an issue. B2, wow, up from A2. That is a big jump. So as I said, if you're planning on getting your Spanish citizenship, try to get it while the language requirements are at A2 level and not B2. Otherwise, it would mean a lot more study with the Español. ¿Comprendes? Now, let's take a look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. The first one here is from Yanisi. Gracias, my Canadian friend Stu, and hello to everyone from a chilly, cloudy New York City. I'm curious. You seem to wake up early to do your pre-sunrise walks with Mia the dog. Does that mean you go to bed early? Seems unlike my impression of Spanish-style living with late-night dinners. Yanisi, thanks for the comment and referring to the fact that somebody called me a Canadian the other day, or I think they were talking about me. Getting my accent mixed up for the North American English accent. I personally can't hear it, but obviously this person did, and Yanisi playing on that. And yeah, I get up early most days of the week around, well, if it's early, it might be late for some people, around 7:15, 7:20 at weekends as well. Take the dog out before the crowds are around, and I like to get my hour and a half, sometimes a little bit less, sometimes more, walk in with the dog in the mornings if I can. During the week, a little bit more difficult, but because of time constraints. But at the weekend, yeah, we go for a good walk. And I like getting up at that time of the day. I'm a morning person, not necessarily a night person. And do I go to bed late? Well, maybe not Spanish late, where the late night entertainment programs on television don't finish until 1 a.m. That's not me. I'm normally in bed around 11 p.m., which is enough for me to sleep those 8 hours or so. I think it's fine for me. Let me know what you guys are sleeping, whether it's more or less, in the comment section below. If you're living here in Spain, have you adapted to the late Spanish lifestyle? Let me know. One here from Paul. I live in Magaluf. We had rain this morning, but going to be bad tomorrow. Thanks, Paul. Yeah, that storm Alice, as we saw, lingering over the Mediterranean, dropping more and more rain as it passes through. And the flooding terrible. Didn't see any reports on Magaluf, so I imagine it wasn't too bad there. But we saw in the southern part of Catalonia, parts of Valencia, the downpours came and flooding dominated the area, unfortunately. And people are taking days off work. Kids are not going to school because of the risk of flooding and severe damage, which is also a result of this. Thanks for the comment, Paul. One here from Penrose. Shouldn't these storms be viewed as an opportunity? Upgrade the drainage to pipe the water to reservoirs inland to help the summer shortages. Thanks, Penrose. Yeah, you could look at this as an opportunity to improve the infrastructure in some parts of the country that are suffering these very heavy storms in recent years. All of the water, of course, runs off into the Mediterranean, into the sea, and the dams are probably not getting as much water as they should be getting. Is it an infrastructure problem? I don't know. I'm not an engineer. I'm not an expert in this. And could Spain improve the system? Perhaps they could. I don't know. Again, you would need to talk to somebody with more expertise rather than somebody just firing away their opinions without any basis on YouTube, which is what far too many people seem to do. But again, if you want a more educated answer to the question, speak to an expert on drainage and dams. Thanks for the comment, Penross. Appreciated. Another one here from Jeff's. Privacy is a thing of the past, but I will accept it if I don't have to stand in line at Barajas like cattle being herded into a truck. Terminal 4S is a nightmare for me after red-eye flights when it takes over an hour just to get to baggage check at times. Thanks, Jeff. Yes, Terminal 4S at Barajas Airport here in Madrid is one of these nightmare terminals that where the travel times inside the airport seem eternal, hopping in various forms of transport to get to parts of the airport to catch your flight and return to the country. Yeah, could it have been built more efficiently? Probably, I don't know. But of course, if you want to avoid Barajas, you can just take an airline that doesn't fly. Terminal 4. If you want to avoid Terminal 4, you can just choose a company that doesn't fly to that airport. I think the last time that I flew internationally with Turkish, we left from Terminal 2, and the experience at Terminal 2 is unlike or very different to the experience at Terminal 4S. The most recent airport addition to the Barajas group of terminals, 1, 2, 3, 4. So thanks, Jeff. And we'll see if the new system does indeed speed things up as the proponents of it are claiming, or whether the detractors are claiming it will be slowed down. Time will tell. One here from Martin. With the new requirements for entry into this country, I wonder how this will apply to residents here in Spain. In the past, we have not had to have our passports stamped to just show our residence cards. Thanks, Martin. Yes, it will be interesting to see how us residents here are treated with this new system. I don't think we'll have the streamlined process that the European Union citizens will have. I don't think that will be the deal, or maybe it will be. I don't know. Again, not an expert in this, and I don't think too many people have gone through the system yet, or they've been able to express their opinion on it. Only just came into force last Sunday, and how many people have gone through it, I don't know. It's only in the main airports at the moment. So if you're coming into Malaga Airport, probably doesn't exist there yet. If you're coming into Barcelona Airport, you might find it. Madrid Barajas, you might find it as well. So we'll get some feedback over the next few months, I am sure, and we'll probably see firsthand what the experience is like the next time we leave Spain and come back to our place of residence. Thanks for the comment, Martin. But as I said, we'll wait and see. And the final comment here from Golden Boy. If you don't like our new rules, please go elsewhere. You can't just come to the EU just like that. Thanks, Golden Boy, for the comment there. And that's the position of probably many people inside the European Union. You got to adhere to the rules. The rules are new. You've got to adhere to them, other than some of the complaints that we have seen on channels like this one. And also in the international press that are saying there will be queues for up to 4 hours for people coming into Spain through the airports. What the port system is going to be like, I don't know. Whether that will be more efficient, or will there be queues there as well? I don't know. Again, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't see into the future what this will look like in a year's time. But Golden Boy, quite clear. If you don't like it, buzz off somewhere else. Turkey, maybe. Or somewhere outside the European Union for your holidays. Otherwise, it is what it is. Live chat time we're going to have a look at now. We'll go into the live chat section in just a moment. Before I get there, I need to change the backdrop picture. This photo was sent through by James and Kathy. Looks familiar. Don't know if I've had it on the backdrop before, but it was just sent in the other day. So whether it was a resend or not, I don't know. But I'll tell you what, this would be a lovely place to be having a drink of a summer's evening. maybe dining outside here in the Picos de Europa, most likely in Cantabria. Don't know exactly where it is, but I'm sure James and Kathy will tell us because they're in the live chat. So thanks, guys, for sending the photo through. Great shot. And again, I would love to be sitting on that terraced area enjoying a drink of a night time. If you have a similar picture you'd like to see on the backdrop, the email address is on the screen now, spainspeaks@gmail.com. Feel free to send your information through to that email address, whether it's a picture like this one, whether it is an article that you think would be of interest to the community. That is the email address. Feel free. The like icon is also on the screen. If you haven't hit it yet, please do so. Just below the video, you will find it. And we'll see if we can get up to a decent tally of likes today. Currently sitting at 64. So do us a favor and hit the like icon. Completely free. Won't cost you a cent. And while you are there, I'll just see if I can organize this button as well. Hit the subscribe button. Become a subscriber of the channel. Also completely free. Gratis. Won't cost you a cent. So subscribe if you can. And like icon too. For people that already support the channel, a big thanks. Super thanks or super chat option here on YouTube. You can support the channel. People that have bought me a coffee, thank you very much for that. Patreon supporters, longer term supporters on that platform. And also here on the YouTube platform, we've got the channel membership option as well. So if you like what I do, consider supporting the channel. It'll help keep the channel growing and going into the future. For how long, I don't know. But for the near future, I'll continue to be putting videos out. So if you want to help support the channel, you can. Now, what do I have to do? Let me go into the chat section. I think I've got everything else out of the way. Let's go through the chat section here. I think it'll be a short chat today. Not much activity happening here. Barbara's in the chat, as she normally is, coming in from Benidorm. Barbara sent me a photo of Benidorm through today. So we'll see that over the next couple of weeks or so. 26 degrees there, staying for a few days as part of the recovery from bursitis and a welcome change of scenery. Absolutely, Barbara. Thanks for leaving your comment this evening. Valued member, of course, is Barbara. Alma coming in from Benihoffa. Buenas tardes a todos. What was the weather like in that part of the world? Alma, was it stormy? Was it flooding down there? Let me know in that Alicante region. Erica's in the chat as well. Erica sent me some news today. I think it was also about Benidorm, Erica's article. Hello everyone from Terrassa, under a yellow warning for strong storms. No rain yet. Have a nice week. Seem to be waiting a lot for rain where Erica is. We saw Tarragona, which I think is to the south of Terrassa. Serious rain hitting some parts of that area. So Erica on alert there. Yellow warning, not red, yellow. Where does it go? Yellow, orange, red, or is it orange, yellow, red? Not sure. I think it might be yellow, orange, red. James and Kathy, the takers of the photo that I have behind me, grey and cool in Worcester, log burner, so it's cozy with a glass of red wine. Thanks for that, guys. High Flyer John here too. Value member, of course. In Spain, flew into Almeria this morning. The EES, that new entry system, starting on the 17th, so no delays at passport control. Loving the sun already. Have a great week. Thanks, John. Al is in the chat, valued member 2. Good evening, my dear friends. Enjoying 20 degrees Celsius after the big nor'easter storm hit the east coast, leaving for Spain next week. Can't wait. Al will be back soon in his beloved El Puerto de Santa Maria, enjoying a nice cold beer, no doubt. Chrissy is in the chat. They need rain where Chrissy is down there in the south of the country. Amanda's in the chat also. Just love the photos look awful of the floods, I imagine. Yeah, becoming far too common, these photos, as I said, of the cars being washed away and other property as well. But at least people are not in the cars. Alma saying that sorry to see the devastating pictures of the weather we just had. I hope people were okay. The storm brought autumn with it, but it's good to see the sun after the storm. Thanks, Alma, for that. Billy coming in from Murcia, down there in the, the southeast of the country, the region of Murcia. Good to see you, Billy. What else we got going on here? Kev's in the chat as well, hoping we are well. Thanks for bringing us together tonight. You're welcome, Kev. Part of the community here, of course, bringing people together, people that have an interest in Spain. That's what we do. El Conquistador coming in from Florida, I think. Stuart's in the driver's seat. Hold on. Thanks, El Conquistador, for that. Regular viewer, of course. As is Marianne in San Diego, sending good fortune to all in Spain. Thanks for those words, Marianne. Sani's here too, Basingstoke resident, hoping we've enjoyed the weekend. I did at least. Can only speak for myself, but it was a good weekend. The weather was good, not too hot, not too cold. Rafa with some emojis. We've got some type of face emoji there. I'm not really up to speed on what all of these emojis mean or signify, but the Spanish flag I get. Thanks, Rafa. Gigi's in the chat too, coming in from Surprise, Arizona. A cool 35 degrees Celsius there. Mike, Vermilion, Canada. Vox is your path out of socialism. Hello, Stu. 3 degrees here in Vermilion, Alberta, Canada. Yeah, it's interesting the perception that people have of socialism. Everybody thinks that European countries are fully socialist. Is Vox the way out? Some people think it is, Mike. Some people think it is. Other people think that it isn't. We'll see. The next time the general elections roll around, we will see. James, we enjoyed the video of Pastrana, beautiful place with people in it. Thanks, James, for that. Yeah. People were in that town. It was the local market day, I think, so it would have brought people from the surrounding villages to Pastrana to buy their fruit and veg, maybe some clothes, other things that were on display there. Not too many people walking around the older part of the town, but yeah, it was an interesting place. Eric is saying that South Americans access Spanish nationality depending on where they are from. Some countries such as Argentina or Peru, it's only 2 years, but other countries such as Cuba, it's 10 years. Yeah, I imagine that the Cuban regime has something to do with that, Erica. I'm sure that if Cuba had a more friendly government to Spain, the rules might be a little bit different. I think the Dominican Republic is only 2 years, so, with that template, don't quote me on that, I think it is, but yeah. Gino is in the chat here, still in Toronto, but heading back with Isabella shortly to Spain. Good to see that, guys. Hope you have a great trip back. Former Madrid correspondent, now Florida resident Dave, a.k.a. St. Pete de Madrid. Less humid where he is there, sunny. Pinellas County, Florida, or Pinellas, I suppose you guys would say there. Storms typical on the Mediterranean coast. Since I was a kid, Terrassa suffered a terrible gota fria in 1962. Hundreds of people were killed. Matorel also suffered. Thanks for that. Yeah, I understand that they have been going on for a long time, but the impression that I'm under here, Erica, is that the flooding seems to get worse and worse as the years go by. I've always remembered the gota fria causing some flash flooding here and there, but nowadays it seems to be a weekly event. But maybe I'm under the wrong impression. I don't know. Kev saying that his wife entered Corvera last night with an expired TIE approved awaiting card, scanned her passport. The machine said her TIA status was awaiting police approval. Guy stamped her passport, no delay. There we go. So that's what I mean by getting the feedback quickly on what us residents here in Spain will have to go through with this new system. Thanks for that, Kev. Rich is in the US, flying to Madrid tomorrow from that country. I'll let you know how bad it is when coming through. You might not experience it, Rich, because it's only in that testing phase, I think. The photo, according to James and Kathy, was taken from the Parador Cervera de Pisuerga. Lovely place. Thanks for that. One of the nice paradores here in Spain. Tomorrow there's a general strike in Spain organised by the CGT, Minimum Services in Transport, Health and Education. See what happens. Thanks, Eric. I wasn't aware of that. Must have slipped under the radar, the old general strike. So we'll see if it does cause some chaos. I don't think there will be much, but you never know with these strikes. Andy, hi Stu, enjoying the program as usual. We are in Arboleas, Andalusia. The weather has been great. Thanks, Andy. Good to see you. And Dave saying, knock on wood, no major storms in Florida so far this season. Because we know that is also a severe storm-prone area. Florida, the hurricanes that roll through there, destroying everything in their way. And yes, lots of damage, of course, caused by these severe storms. But again, we imagine people that live in that part of the world, for example, Dave, you get used to it, right, Dave? Now, that was the last comment. Time to wrap this live stream up. I'll be back again on Thursday with another one. Hope to see you then. More content coming out tomorrow. Stay tuned for that. Hasta luego. Hasta entonces. Adios and bye-bye from the outskirts of Madrid.